Hello students, welcome back. In the last video class, you had seen how to write a context-free grammar for a given language. We had also seen how to write a context-free grammar for a given two languages, the languages which belongs to two different regions. Today we see the simplification of a context-free grammar. So there is a chance to simplify the context-free grammar by removing the symbols which are unproductive and unreachable. So today we'll see what you mean by unproductive symbols and what you mean by unreachable symbols. The unproductive symbols are the grammar symbols which are not contributing anything in the generation of the string for a particular language. So in the grammar, you are going to write a terminal symbols as well as a non-terminal symbol. So the terminal symbols are the productive symbols because they are generating the strings for a particular language. Whereas non-terminals, whatever you take, those comes under the unproductive symbols. So in that unproductive symbols, you are going to mark productive symbols and you are going to remove the unproductive symbol from the grammar. So how to do that? For that we are going to use an algorithm called as remove unproductive. So here we are marking the productive symbols by using this algorithm remove unproductive. So what is the argument for this algorithm? The grammar, that is a context-free grammar, is a argument for this algorithm. Next, what is the first step in the algorithm? Here we are going to write a G dash. What is the G dash here? It is nothing but the given grammar. Given grammar is assigned to the G dash. So at the end I will get the G dash which is free from the unproductive symbols of the context-free grammar. What is the second step here? Mark every non-terminal symbol in a G dash as unproductive. So assume that this is a given grammar. So as I said, these non-terminals which comes at the left side of the rules, they are not contributing anything in the generation of the string. So initially we are going to mark all these non-terminal symbols of a G dash as a unproductive. So according to that second rule, yes, A, B, C, D are what? Unproductive symbols. Next, what is the third step here? Mark every terminal symbols in a G dash as a productive. So what are the terminal symbols in the given grammar? As I said, the terminal symbols are written in a small case letters. So what are the terminal symbols in the grammar? A and B are the terminal symbols. So you are going to mark A and B as a productive symbols because they are used to generate the strings for a particular language. Next, what is the fourth step? Until one entire pass has been made without any new symbol being marked as do. So you are going to apply this until one pass has been made. This means until you check all the productions, you are going to repeat the fourth step. Okay, so what is there in the fourth step? Check it out. For each rule, x produces alpha. Suppose the rule is in this form where x is producing some alpha in a rule do. If every symbol in alpha has been marked as a productive and x has not yet been marked as a productive, then mark x as a productive. So this step you are going to follow for all the rules of the grammar. So what they are saying, for each rule, if the rule is in this form, x produces alpha, then if every symbol in the alpha, suppose every symbol in the alpha has been marked as a productive. So check out the right part of the rules. So the right part of the rules has all the productive symbols and x is not yet been marked as a productive, then mark x as a productive. Okay. So check out the right side of the grammar. If the right side of the grammar contains all the productive symbols and if x is not yet marked as a productive, then mark x as a productive. So you are going to repeat this for all the steps. So what you are going to do? You are going to check the right part of the grammar. So if the right part of the grammar contains all the productive symbols, then mark the left side non-terminal as a productive if it is not yet been marked. Next, after that, once you mark all that, you are going to remove from the grammar G dash every unproductive symbols. Next, you are going to remove from the G dash every rule with an unproductive symbol on either left hand side or a right hand side. So once you do this, then you are going to remove all the symbols from the G dash which are marked as the unproductive, and its related rule also you are going to remove from the G dash. At the end you are going to return what? The G dash which is free from what? The unproductive symbols. So we will take one example and we will apply the algorithm. So consider this is the example, this is a given grammar. So according to the first rule, this become my G dash. So this is my G dash. What is the second step? Mark every non-terminal symbol in the G dash as unproductive. So what are the non-terminal symbols? As I said, non-terminal symbols are written by using the capital letters, and the non-terminal symbols are always present at the left side of the rule. So first you are going to mark S, A, B, C, D as what? Unproductive. Why these are unproductive? Because these symbols not contributing in the generation of the string for a particular language. Next, mark according to third rule, mark every terminal symbol in a G dash as a productive. So what are the terminal symbols in the grammar? A, B are the terminal symbols here. So I will mark A and B as productive symbols. So these are the productive symbols. Next, you are going to apply the fourth step. Until one entire pass has been made without any new symbol being marked, do. For each rule X produces alpha in R, do this. If every symbol in the alpha has been marked as a productive, mark X as a productive if it is not yet been marked. So I have to check all these rules here. So first one, ellipse, I will take the A ka rule. So A produces what? A, B or epsilon. Okay. So A is what? It is a productive symbol. This A, B is also a productive symbol. Next I can replace this A by what? The another rule of A. By considering the another rule of A, I can replace this as a epsilon. So once I replace this as a epsilon, what I get? I will get AB, where AB is marked as what? The productive symbol. So based on that, see, A is not yet marked as a productive. So based on this, see, right part of the rule contains the productive symbols. So based on that, I can mark what? The left side symbol is a productive symbol. So I will remove this from the unproductive list and I will enter that in a productive list based on this. Next, I will consider the second rule. What is the second rule here? B produces BA. Okay, so B is what? It is a productive symbol. And for A, I can replace this A by what? The epsilon. So if I replace this by a epsilon by considering A production, what I get at the right part of the rule? It is a B. B is nothing but what? It is a productive symbol. So based on that, it is producing what? Productive symbol. So based on that, I can mark B as a productive. So I will remove that from the unproductive list and I will make entry of that in a productive list. Next, see, now A and B are what? Productive symbols. Based on that, shall I say S is also productive? See, S is producing what? AB and S is producing AC. Okay, we will not consider this rule. So if I consider this rule, so A is productive, B is productive, so I can say S is also productive. So I will remove S from the unproductive list and I will make entry of that in a productive. Next, I will consider the C here. So C is producing what? B, C, A. Where B is a productive symbol, A is a productive symbol. What I must replace for this C? C, there is no other production for a C to replace it, to produce the terminal symbols. So I will not mark this as a productive. Okay. Next, consider the D. D produces AB. As I said, AB are already there in the productive list. So based on that I can say D is also productive. Okay. So now the left out symbol is what? C. So C produces BCA. So this symbol I will mark this as a unproductive symbol because I will not get the productive symbols from this. So I will make this symbol as a unproductive. And according to the fifth step, I am going to remove this symbol from the grammar. So I am going to remove this symbol from the grammar and its related rules I am going to delete from left and right hand side. So based on that I am going to delete this rule from the grammar, and S produces A, C is there, so C is a part of this, so I am going to delete this rule. So after deleting the unproductive symbol and its related rule, what I get? I get a G dash, and what are the production of this G dash? The production of this G dash is S produces AB. Next, A produces AAB or epsilon. Next, B produces BA. Next, D produces AB. Now, according to this algorithm, I can say whatever the G dash I got, that is free from the unproductive symbols. I hope you understood this. We will take one more example on this. Consider another example for this. Here the given grammar is S produces AA, S produces BB, A produces A produces A, B produces BB, D produces AB, D produces EA, E produces AC, and E produces D. E has a 2 production, D has a 2 production, A has a 2 production, and S has a 2 production here. So according to the algorithm given, so the first step is this is my G dash. The second step is I should mark every non-terminal symbol of a G dash as a unproductive. So what are the non-terminal symbols here? S, A, B, D, E are the what? The non-terminal symbols. So I am going to mark these symbols as unproductive. Next, according to the third step of the algorithm, I should mark every terminal symbol in the G dash as a productive. So what are the terminal symbols here? A, B, next D are the terminal symbols. So I will mark this A, B, D as a productive symbols. Productive symbols. Next, what is the fourth step? So I should check every rule right part. If that rule right part has a productive symbol, then I go on mark the left symbol of a rule as a productive here. Okay. So based on that, I can say see, A produces A, where A is a productive symbol. Okay. So I can say that A is producing A means it is producing a productive symbol. So based on that I can mark A as a productive symbol. So I will remove A from this list and I will mark this as a productive. Consider the another production of A, that is A produces AA is there. Okay. So for this A, according to the second rule of A, I can substitute A here. So A produces AA I get, where A is a productive symbol. So these rules are okay with the grammar G dash. Next, B produces BB is there. So B produces B is there. So where B is a productive symbol and this capital B is a unproductive symbol. So it is not generating, at the right side it is not generating the productive symbol. So I will not mark this B as a productive. Next, check out the next production where D produces AB. Where A, B are marked as what? The productive symbol. Based on that, I can mark D as a productive. So I will make an entry of this D in the productive list. Take a next rule of a D, that is D produces EA. Okay, and for this E, I can substitute for this E a D. So DA I get at the right side of the rule. where D is marked as a productive and A is also marked as a productive. Based on that, I can mark D as a productive. So both rule of D are okay with the grammar G dash. Next, consider the E production here. E produces A, C is there. Next, E produces D is there. So E produces D, where D is marked as a productive symbol. Based on that, I can mark E as a productive. So I will make an entry of this E in a productive list. Next, consider the second rule of a E, where A is a productive and this C is a unproductive symbol. So according to this, I can't consider this rule as a valid rule. Okay, because it is not producing at the right hand side, it is not producing any productive symbols. Next, consider S production here. S produces A is there. For this A, I can substitute small a. So S produces A I get, where A is marked as a productive. So I will mark S as a productive here. Take a next production of a S. So S produces B is there. Okay. So what I should substitute for this B? So B can be substituted as B, where it is producing what? The productive as well as the unproductive symbol. So this rule is not okay with the grammar. Okay. So I am going to, so I had checked all the production. Based on that, I had marked the productive symbols of the grammar. So based on that, I can say B is a unproductive symbol. Okay. So I am going to remove the rule of a B from the grammar. So based on that, this rule I will strike out. Next, wherever the symbol B is occurred in the rule, those rules are removed from the grammar. So based on that, this rule is removed, and C is also not a part of the productive as well as the non-productive symbols. So I am going to remove this rule also. So based on that, I can say the whatever the grammar G dash I get, that is free from the unproductive. So what I get finally in the G dash, S produces A. Next, A produces A. Next, A produces A. D produces AB. D produces E, A, and E produces A. So these are the grammar rules which are free from the unproductive symbols. Next, we will see the unreachable algorithm and its related examples. We will move to the next algorithm. The next algorithm, it will remove the unreachable symbols from the grammar. The unreachable symbols are the symbols which are not reaching from the start symbol. And what is the start symbol? The first symbol of the grammar is called as a start symbol. If any non-terminal are not reaching from the start symbols, we are going to mark those symbols as a unreachable symbols, and we are going to delete that from the grammar. So check out the algorithm for this unreachable symbol, removal for the unreachable symbols. The argument passed to this algorithm is the context-free grammar itself. Next, the first step is we are going to mark G as a G dash. So whatever the context-free grammar is given, we are going to assign it for a G dash here. In the second step, we mark S as a reachable. S is nothing but a start symbol. It may be anything of the grammar. Okay, the first symbol of the grammar is called as a start symbol. We are going to make that as a reachable symbol. What we are going to do in the third step? Mark every other non-terminal symbol as a unreachable. So S is a start symbol, so I am going to mark this as a reachable symbol, and every other symbols are the unreachable symbols. Next, what we are going to do in the fourth step? So repeatedly we are going to perform this step on all the rules of the grammar. So check out the step here. Until one entire pass has been made without any new symbol being marked, do this. For each rule, X produces alpha, A, beta in a rule part. Do if X has been marked as a reachable and A has not, then mark A as reachable. So in this, if your grammar has a rule where x has been marked as a reachable, the rule producing what? Alpha, A, beta, where A is a non-terminal symbol here. Then you are going to mark this A as a reachable. X has been marked as a reachable and it is producing another symbol, that is A, which is not yet been marked as a reachable. If such cases are there, then mark A as a reachable. So we are going to do this for all the rules of the grammar. Next, in the fifth step, we are going to remove from the variables from the G dash which are unreachable. Next, the related rule also we are going to, the unreachable symbol rules also we are going to remove from the grammar according to the sixth step. Then we are going to return G dash which is free from the unreachable. So we will take one example and see how to remove the unreachable symbols from the grammar. So I had considered the previous example only. So this is a grammar, first example I had considered. So this is a grammar which I got after applying the unproductive algorithm. So at the end I got this grammar. Now I am checking the unreachable symbol from the grammar. So I will apply the algorithm. So according to the first step of the algorithm, this grammar become a G dash now. Next, mark S as a reachable. So what is the start symbol? What is the first symbol of the grammar? Here it is S. So I am going to mark S as a reachable symbol. Next, according to third step, mark every other non-terminal symbol as a unreachable. So what are the left out symbols here? A, B and D are the what? Unreachable symbol. I am going to mark these are the unreachable symbols. Next, until one entire pass. So I am going to check all the rules. Okay, if a rule is producing a symbol which is not yet been marked as a reachable, and the left side of that rule symbol marked as a reachable, then I am going to mark this as a reachable here. Okay, so here S produces A, B is there. So S is marked as a reachable. Okay, next from S I can reach what? A and B. So I will mark A and B also a reachable. So I will make an entry of this in a reachable list according to the first rule. Next, so A is reachable, B is reachable. What about the D? Can I reach the D from S or from A or from B? So check out the A rule. What are the A rule? A produces A, B or epsilon. There is no D in this rule. Next, check out the B production. So what is the B production here? B produces B, A is there. So there is no D in all of these three rules. So based on that I can say D remain unreachable from the start symbol. So I am going to mark D as what? Unreachable symbols. So according to the step 5 and 6, I am going to remove that symbol from the grammar G dash, and I am going to remove the rule with an unreachable symbol from the LHS. So I had marked D has a unreachable symbol, so I am going to remove this from the variable list of the grammar and its rule from the grammar. So after removing that, what I get? I get S produces AB. Next, A produces AAB or epsilon. Next, B produces BA. So this is my final grammar which is free from unreachable symbol. We will take one more example for this. Check out the second example where S produces AA, A produces A or AA, E produces D and S produces AA. So when I apply this algorithm, unreachable algorithm, what I get? So the grammar G become a G dash here according to the first step. Then I will mark S as a reachable. So S is what? It is a start symbol. So I will mark S as a reachable symbol. Next, mark every other non-terminal symbol as unreachable. So what are the left out symbols in the grammar? A, E and S. Okay, so these symbols I will mark as a unreachable symbols. Next, according to the fourth step, I should check, see, whatever the symbol I marked as a reachable, I should check the production of that. Okay, so if it is producing any other symbols which are there in the grammar, then I am going to mark that as a reachable symbol. Okay, so yes, I marked as a reachable. I will check S production here. S produces what? A. So according to the fourth step, A is a symbol that I got. Okay, from this, yes, so I will mark A as a reachable. So I will remove this from the unreachable list. I will make an entry of this in a reachable list. Next, I should check the production of S and A here to mark a next variable as a reachable. So S production, there is only one production, and through S I can reach A, and through A shall I reach any other symbols? So A production where a terminal symbol is there and another production contain the A itself. So through A I can't reach any other symbols. I can't reach E as well as I can't reach S here. So I will mark this E and S as a unreachable symbols, and I will remove its production from the grammar. Suppose E is a part of any one of this, then I can say E is reachable, because I can reach E from this S. Okay, and S already I marked as a reachable, but it is not present in this case. So I will mark ES as a unreachable, and its related production I will remove from the grammar. So after removing the unreachable symbols, what I get? S produces A. Next, A produces A or AA. So these are the production I get at final. So if in the exam, if they ask you to minimize the given context free grammar, then you are going to apply both the algorithms, that is unproductive algorithm and unreachable algorithm, to remove the unproductive symbols and unreachable symbols from the given grammar. Once you remove these two, you will get a grammar which is free from the unreachable and unproductive symbols. And I can say this grammar is a valid grammar. So when you are going to say the grammar is valid grammar, if it produces the strings of a given language, and if it produces only the strings of a given language. On that I can say whatever the grammar you get, that is a correct grammar, or you can say the valid grammar. I hope you understood these two algorithms. Thank you.